right. What we're looking at in this segment is to look at how do we factor perfect square trinomials, right? What's the easiest way to get through to the factor form of those? So on screen, what we're looking at is just the general format in which the trinomials would be set, and then what's the factor format for them. So we want to just quickly dive into this idea. So if we notice this first term is squared, the last term is squared. So we're looking for those square ideas like square numbers, right? Or square terms or a combination of, just a monomial that is a square idea. So the first term should be a square thing. The last one should be a square thing. And then if you take a look at the middle, which is the second term that's in the middle there, it is a combination of 2 times the square root of the first and the last. For example, if you should ask yourself, what is the square root of a square? You're going to get a. What is the square root of b square? You're going to get b. In the middle here, it's a combination of 2 times a times b. So a times b times 2 is always in the middle. So that is a way in which you could identify your perfect square trinomial. Now, apart from that, when you factor this, all you're going to have is the square root of the first and the last term here, right? So we're going to have the square root of the first term being first, and the square of the last term being the last one in this binomial here. And we're going to square it because it is a perfect square, which means that it multiplied by itself. One other thing, if this is a plus, then you're going to have a plus here, right? Also, if the sign, as you can see, is a minus on the middle term, right? Because this is the middle term we're referring to. So if the sign is a minus on the middle term, then you're going to have to use a minus right there. The idea remains the same. Let us look on what some of the problems are. What we want to do is to identify if this is a perfect square first. For example, 9 is a square number. All right, very good. 25 is a square number. N square is definitely square. So yes, the first and the last, we're seeing that the first term, the third term, they are square terms. Also, if I should take the square root, of 25n squared, I'll get 5n, and the square root of 9 would give me 3. Let's check to see if we could get our 30. 5n times 3 is 15n, and if we double that, we'll get 30n right here. So you can see this coming out. So that will give you the quick notification that yes, it is a perfect square. How do I write the in factor form, or do I factorize it? I'm going to put the square root of the first term here, the square root of the last term here. And because this is a minus here on my middle term, I'm going to put a minus here, square. We're done. So it's really the square roots that will be coming down, and we be mindful of the sign that we have as the second term or the middle term right there. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, so let us say we find ourselves with 16x squared plus 40x plus 25. So let's take a look. Is this a square term? Yes. What is the square root of it? The square root of 16x squared is 4x. What about the 25? Yes. The square root of 25 is 5. Let's double check to see if we'll get the middle term. I'm going to multiply these two. 5 fours, that's 20x. And if I double it, I get 40x. So yes, I know that is in the perfect square format. So all I'm going to do is to set up this. The square is already outside, right? Because the factor is always like that. Square root, 4x. Next square root, 5. This in the middle is plus, so this becomes a plus. We're done. Let's try another one. What if I only had m squared plus 10m plus 25. Again, you could see that this is a square term. This is a square term as well. So let's look what the square roots are. What's the square root of m squared? M. What is the square root of 25? 5. Let's do the check to see if it is a perfect square. We're going to multiply m times 5. We're going to get 5m. If I double that, I get 10m. I'm like, okay, it is in the perfect square format. That means I'm going to set up my parentheses with my square outside. The square roots are going to be here. M came first, the 5 came after. This is plus in front of the middle here, so this is a plus. That's it. Let's try another one. What if we find ourselves with, say, 9k squared plus 6k plus 1. So we're taking a look, right? So we're taking a quick look here. What is the square root of 9k squared? 3k. What is the square root of 1? 1. Let's check to see if we could get the middle term. 3k times 1 becomes 3k. And if I double that, I'm getting 6k. So yes, it's in the perfect square format. Then I set up my parentheses. Put a square there. I'm going to put the square root. So the 3k came first. So it's right there. The 1 came after. This sign in front of the middle term is a plus. So this is a plus. And that is the factor. Let's try the last one. Say I have 16n squared minus 24 n plus 9. So what is the square root of 16 n squared? This is going to be 4n. What is the square root of 9? That's 3. Let's do the check. 3 4 is 12. 12n, you double that, you see the 24 coming there. So the moment I check and I'm seeing that, I put the square. What's the square root of 16n squared? That is 4n. And the square root of 9 is 3. Remember though that this is a subtraction or minus, so you gotta put minus here, right here, and we're done. Right? So that is how you could quickly factorize a perfect square trinomial. See you next time.